everybody. Welcome to another episode of Coming Up Milhouse. And today we start season 5 with episode 1, which is Homer and his Barbershop Quartet.
Can you imagine that Homer wrote a song and was actually a star and made a bunch of money?
I know.
But that's what this episode's about.
It is.
He is remembering all the way back to that far distant past region of 1985 where he tells Bart and Lisa all about how he and Principal Skinner and Pooh and Chief Wiggum the started a barbershop quartet that just blew up.
Yep.
But it didn't all go great for everyone, so we'll talk about that. Let's kick this guy off with our lines, though. What is your favorite line?
Human roaches feeding off each other's garbage. The only thing you can't buy here is dignity. And that was right at the kicker of the episode, where they are at a swap
meet.
Yeah, swap meet. And they have all sorts of junk, and Mayor Quimby is welcoming the swappers. And he was saying that to his bodyguard
with his
next
hand
to him.
over the mic.
Yeah. And then immediately taps and is like, "Welcome to this fabulous swap meet." But, yep.
And then he said, "Ich bin ein Swap Meter Springfielder," or something
And
goofy
then
like
people,
that.
yeah.
Man.
Back in the 80s.
Back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What about you?
So, my first line has to do a little bit later when Homer and his group are singing and they're at the nursing home. And there's Grandpa and one of the other nursing home residents are there. I can't remember the guy's name. It's not Jasper, but it's one of the other ones. And there's a little bit of an exchange. And Homer's up there singing and Grandpa says, "That's my son up there." And the other guy says, "Who, the balding fat ass?" And then Grandpa's like, "No, the Hindu guy." Talking about a poo. I was like, "Oh, you're going down. That is good stuff. That is very good." All right, what about number 2?
"This enormous woman will devour us all." Homer was introducing a song by saying that they were going to sing to this 100-year-old 200-ton woman, indicating the Statue of Liberty. She's on my shirt too, by the way.
Yeah.
But this guy took him very literally and jumped off the boat into the water to get away from this monstrosity.
He thought a 200-ton woman was going to eat him.
For real.
For real.
Mm-hmm. Pretty simple.
That's good.
What about you?
Alright, my second line is, "There was nothing in Al Capone's vault, but it wasn't Geraldo's fault."
There were some good songs.
Now, you gotta have been from back in that day to get the joke, but I actually remember watching the Geraldo special where they're like, "Al Capone's vault, what's behind it? We don't know," and they pull it down and there's nothing there. I actually watched that live. So, this joke resonates with me because I totally remember that.
Yep. There was
Now,
nothing in the vault.
if you're under 40, you probably never heard of that whole thing, so, but,
You can look it up on the internet.
Look it up, it's a thing. Geraldo Rivera actually had a live special where they opened Al Capone's vault and they made a big deal about what they were going to find, and they found nothing. And that's what the joke is. I love it. So there it is. What about your favorite scene? Give me your scene.
My favorite scene was the audition. So they start out with the Barbershop Quartet with Chief Wiggum involved, and then Homer has to be the one to break it to him that he's off the group. And so then they're holding live auditions to replace his position. And so Grandpa comes on and he sings this version of Old MacDonald that's kind of like a swing version. It's pretty catchy. And then Willie comes on and he sings Dune Tune for downtown, and Jasper's there, and he's singing stuff, and then Wiggum, of course, is dressed in a disguise to try and get back on the quartet. And that's my favorite scene.
That was great.
It's fantastic. It's just very clever, and
I love how Jasper's singing. His song is the theme to The Summer Place, which is a movie, and that wasn't a song with lyrics. That was the theme music to that movie. So he kept saying, "Theme to the Summer Place."
Yep, over and over and over. That was his song. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's so silly.
Oh, man.
What about you?
My favorite scene goes back to the swap meet at the beginning, and so Homer goes to this 5-cent box. Ooh, 5 cents. And he picks up a copy of the Constitution, junk, the #1 Action Comics, which was the first comic that Superman was in. He's like, junk, and then like stamps of the Spirit of St. Louis, a plane's upside down, and a Stradivarius, and he just keeps throwing all this like valuable stuff away, thinking it's junk, and it's like he could have made a fortune spending 5 cents on these things. And
20 cents totally. He would have been a rich man.
He would have been a millionaire probably with all that stuff.
Well, I'm gonna follow that up with my loser, because my loser was the salesperson at that swap meet. Because of that particular reason. Because he was obviously as dense as Homer, not realizing all that stuff was valuable and trying to sell things for 5 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, no one was walking away with that bargain of a deal from the swap meet.
Either somebody else came by and bought all that stuff, or they put it back in the box and took it back home, stuck it in the attic,
or tossed it in the trash.
Yeah, but you're right. Whoever had that box going, they did not.
So the swap meet vendor was my loser for this episode because of that very reason.
Good one. Good one.
What about you?
My loser is the human fly. Hello, human fly here. Come on, I dyed my underwear. So at the very end of the episode, they get up years later after the B Sharps, which was their quartet's name, dissolved, and they're going to sing a rooftop show like the Beatles did, and they're riffing on that. And this guy who apparently put a lot of effort into being a human fly climbing up the side of a building to get attention, all the attention went to the B Sharps, and he missed out, and he dyed his underwear for nothing. So there's my
poor human fly.
Yeah. What about your winner?
My winner is Nigel, who is the producer or manager for the B Sharps, and I'm just assuming that he walked away from this venture with a ton of money because Homer certainly did not. So I'm going with Nigel for my winner.
Not a bad plan.
What about you?
The sea captain.
He was on my list.
So there's this little bit where the sea captain has a harpoon and he's fighting with the biggest squid that you've ever seen. It's like a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea type squid. And he's like, and then the radio's on for some reason, and then it's Baby on Board's Homer's song. And he's like, "Arr," and like becomes friends with the squid over that song, soothing everybody. And so I figured, hey, the sea captain got out of the fight and made a friend with the squid, and he didn't have to do nothing to turn on the radio.
Nope. It's a pretty great episode.
Kicking off season 5 with a bang. This was a fun one for sure. Homer's Barbershop Quartet. Watch it. You will definitely get some laughs.
Yep, and you can find it on most of the streaming services and on DVD. So give it a watch. As always, give us a thumbs up. Write your comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time,
Jiminy Jillikers!